I am exactly where I need to be in this moment. I am in complete harmony with those around me who share this moment with me. I contribute only truth and love to those around me. I am being used as a beacon of light to transmit God's divine purpose to others. I will bring peace to this moment. Now let there be truth, love, light, and peace. When one meanders about her tedious life in oblivion, she is likened to being asleep. Yet, there are moments in such a life that are requisite in her awakening. These moments are also known as visions, and if one can maintain vigilance during these moments, one may begin to unravel the tightly woven thread of her life's purpose. And of course, as with anything in life, when one first awakens to a new beginning, she must strengthen her muscles of awareness. This gets easier with time, and when one strengthens a certain muscle, it is nearly impossible for the other muscles to be neglected.
Welcome to Vision Class.
The web-based open classroom that helps its students interconnect to achieve their visions and find their life's greater purpose. Students can join Vision Class by simply logging onto YouTube and subscribing to the Vision Class channel. For a duration of 12 weeks, Vision Class will air a 1-hour lecture every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, beginning Friday, June 7th, 2013.
So to stay abreast of what's going on in class and to always be aware, just remember you just want to go to our Facebook or Google Plus pages and you want to download the syllabus. Or you can download the syllabus directly by clicking on the link below. We have had some technical difficulties with downloading the syllabus, especially from Android phones. But in which case, if you're having any difficulties, never hesitate to email me at sugarfreemail@rocketmail.com, where I will answer questions and I will also be available to submit to you the syllabus if you are having issues with downloading it.
There are 6 class texts you will need for Vision Class. Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain, Write It Down, Make It Happen by Henriette and Klauser, The Isaiah Effect by Greg Braden or A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, The Spontaneous Healing of Belief by Greg Braden, and The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
The whole purpose of Vision Class is to interconnect, is to share, is to gain everyone's insight and testimonials such that your own vision is fueled. We want you not only to find your visions in life, but we want to use those visions as points on a map to help you figure out your life purpose, your life path.
Vision Class is updated constantly with information and changes that are vital to each student's success, so it is important that students remain vigilant of these updates on their own. By accessing our Facebook and Google Plus sites, students can find everything from the course syllabus to free downloadable texts by the mere click of a button. To access all Vision Class links for Facebook, simply click on the Notes section. To access all Vision Class links for Google Plus, simply click on the About tab at the top of the page and scroll down to the Links section. Students can also access the Vision Class calendar from one of the aforementioned sections, which allows you a quick glance of all dates, times, and assignments for Vision Class.
For your daily assignments, you'll need 3 notebooks to get started.
A notebook of any size to be utilized as a journal, labeled as the Legacy Book. A small notebook that is portable to carry with you at all times, labeled as the Intention Book. And a medium to large size notebook to help you take notes and complete class assignments labeled as the Vision Book. You will also need a presentation board of any kind, which you will update throughout class with inspirations and visions you hope to achieve in your life, newly titled the Envision Board.
This class is not, I will say it a million times, if you've never heard me say it once, you're going to hear me say it now. This class is not about what you're able to accomplish, okay? It is about what you do with your time. So it's not just, hey, I'm able to cover all the text material, Shira, now what? Because you can read all these books all day long and never become aware of your reality. No, this class is about how you connect to yourself, how you connect to your creator. How do you do that? By what you put into the class. This is about how to interconnect with your fellow students and find a way that works for you, such that this becomes a habit. And once this way of life becomes a habit for you, you will notice how easy it is to incorporate the elements of this class into your life.
Today in Vision class, we discuss techniques for recovering a sense of power, as well as how to solidify your vision with intention by making an Envision Board. Today's reading is from The Artist's Way, Week 3, and from Write It Down, Make It Happen, the first half of the book. Today's assignment is to continue the morning pages, artist's date, and jotting down dreams and visions in your vision book. Print out any photos representing what you have written in your vision book, and post at least one of your visions as a photo upload on Facebook or Google+.
All right, welcome to week 3 of Vision class. I'm Shira, again, if you are not aware, and I am your hostess slash co-student. I'm doing everything with you. Don't ever forget that you can always access Facebook and Google Plus for the complete list of links. A lot of times the links do not work in YouTube, so you have to access it through your Facebook or Google Plus account. The links of which will be below, the links of which will work to direct you to those sites. I just want to mention that so many people are missing out on updates and on information because they are not logged into Facebook or Google+. I'm constantly updating, I'm constantly engaging, I'm constantly providing you tips and tricks. So really, you want to make sure that you stay logged into Facebook and Google+. It is your best friend in this class. Okay, so people are also having difficulty with doing the morning pages and artist's date. I came up with an analogy for a student. Hopefully it will serve you well in this course. Now, think of yourselves as patients going to the doctor, right? And you have an illness, your illness being perhaps you can't pursue your dreams and visions as you'd like, or you don't know who you are as well as you'd like to because people around you are kind of like the illness and the disease that have perpetuated the thoughts in your mind that you continue with. And you go to the doctor to rid yourself of an illness, right? And part of going to the doctor requires checking yourself up, and also part of going to the doctor requires that you take medicine, right? The reason that you take medicine is to hopefully prevent your illness, if not make it better. Now, sometimes you don't know the mechanism behind the medication you're taking, right? You don't know the chemical mechanism behind the medication. Perhaps you don't know its interactions, and perhaps you don't realize that if you take this pill, what happens inside of your body chemically to allow this pill to work. All you know is that the doctor gives you a direction for how you take this pill, right? Whether you take it twice a day, every 4 hours, until the next 2 weeks, until the next 4 months, whatever have you. But the doctor gives you medication for a reason. It's to clear up your illness. And of course, if you take the medication as directed, then chances are very likely that your illness will subside. And eventually, as a patient, sometimes you want to become informed. Sometimes you do want to know, why is this medication working? Why does this medication work in the way that it does that allows me to get better? And the doctor may be the only one at that time who knows the indications of that medication, right? Sometimes the doctor is the only one who knows how that medication works and why it works in your body. But for a short period of time, you just trust your doctor. You just know that the doctor is going to give you the medication with your best intentions in mind. And then, of course, as time goes on and your doctor sees that you're getting better, the doctor may point you to some websites or point you to some materials that may help you to understand why the medication is working. And in that way, you're becoming an informed patient, right? And perhaps as you figure out the reason that the medication works, you may become more empowered to want to take the medication because you now have a greater understanding as to why that medication works. Well, you, as a student in Envision class, are like the informed patient. You want to know why the morning pages work. You want to know why the artist date works, right? And I'm telling you that in time, I will tell you exactly why they work. But the reason that I'm giving you the work first instead of second is because if you take the medication as directed, you're going to see your symptoms clear, which are going to allow you to trust me to help you understand why the medication works in the first place. But we're doing it backwards. The reason that we're doing it backwards is because people have the tendency all too much to rely upon thinking. And this is what we talk about in the artist date, right? In the morning pages. We're trying to help you avoid the first think, is what Julia Cameron says. And the reason that we're doing that is because your thoughts do not serve you in this class. Your thoughts work against you in this class. Your thoughts are part of the illness. And in order to clear up your thoughts, which are plaguing so many of you that I'm seeing on Facebook, your thoughts are what's getting in your way. In order to clear that up, I'm giving you a prescription as the doctor of this class, and I'm telling you, take your prescription as directed. Take the morning pages as directed. They're called morning pages for a reason, right? Do them when you first wake up, right? That's part of your prescription. Artist date. You don't take friends and family on your artist date. Your artist date is for you. Because all too often we do not want to spend time with ourselves. And coming to the epiphany, coming to the realization that that is part of our sickness, that we can't even stand to be with just ourselves, whether it be because of time or whether it be because of choice. Nonetheless, we do not get time with ourselves. Yet we leave this earth and come into this world with just ourselves. It is imperative that you take the medication as directed. It is imperative that you read the syllabus. It is imperative that you read the books as directed, to do it with us. Now, I know that if you've just come into class late, you're wondering what's happening and you're kind of late. Don't worry. Weeks 7 and 8, I give you to catch up. So wherever we are now, jump right on in to the class with us. All right? Because it will not serve you well. It will not help your illness for you to think right now. Right now, I am telling you to trust me that if you just do everything every week, every day as directed, you will get better. Because later on when I introduce the mechanism behind the medication, later on when I introduce the concepts behind why morning pages work, behind why the artist date works, you're going to be able to trust me when I say it. You'll be able to understand the experience. As opposed to giving you a concept that is so far out that you don't even have the opportunity to understand it. We're working backwards, and it's for a reason. And in time, I will explain that reason. Last but not least, some of you are probably wondering why 12 weeks. 12 weeks is the considerable amount of period that a season in one's life takes, right? So winter, fall, summer, and spring are one season. They are how long? 12 weeks apiece. And the reason that we work in a season is because what happens in a season is you plant a seed into fertile soil. Right now, if you have a lot of thoughts in your mind is fertile soil for planting bad seeds. Right now, we're trying to turn that soil over, and we're trying to knead that soil and give it a healthy nudge, to give it a healthy push. And we're doing that with the morning pages. We're doing that with the artist date. I cannot stress to you how important it is. Now, if you aren't doing it, this is not the time to beat yourself up. This is not the time to beat yourself up, because that is once again planting an unhealthy seed in an unhealthy soil. We're not doing that in this class. We are helping you. We are supporting you. We're nurturing you. And you cannot nurture soil that is fertile for bad crops, right? So we have to create healthy soil, and we do that with the morning pages. And where do we plant the seed? The seed is weeks 6 through 12 or 7 through 12 when we start talking about the concepts behind why these things work, right? When we talk about belief, when we talk about gratitude, when we talk about meditation and healing. These are concepts. These are not practical aspects of the course. These are aspects of the course that are in here. So until you understand that that is what we're doing, which you may not understand yet, and that is fine because we're not there, until then, you want to read your syllabi, right? You want to read your syllabus, because if you don't read your syllabus, you won't understand that that's what we're doing. And remembering that we are trying to produce a harvest, right? We're not saying that in these next 12 weeks, all your visions will come true. All right? We're not saying that. But what we are saying is that if you create and produce a fertile soil, right? So that your seed can sow a multitude of your visions, a multitude of your dreams. If you just do the work, what I'm telling you is that yes, in months after this, you will reap abundance. It is not a doubt. It is not something that I'm not certain of. I am 100% certain of it. But I am asking you not to look at me with sad eyes at the end of this course when you have not done the work. Because that is not fair to me. That is not fair to your fellow students. And guess what? It's not fair to yourself. So if you cannot do the work for yourself, i.e. take your artist date and take time with yourself, i.e. devote yourself that 15 minutes a day to your morning pages and you speed write. If you can't do that, and if you can't do the tasks in the artist way at the end, then there is no reason to be shocked that you have no fertile ground for which to sow seeds of healthy harvest. You will not. You can't. And that's what I'm telling you. So do not expect the medication to work if you don't take it as directed. I used to work in an emergency room, and I had patients coming in all the time who, with diabetes, would come in with their feet falling off of their leg. Like literally falling off in front of my eyes. In fact, it would reek so bad, the defecation of what their body was ejecting, that I would smell it rooms and hallways away. I would smell the decaying of someone's foot or toe or finger or whatever. And when you go to the patient and you ask them, excuse me, did you take the medication, or did you go to dialysis, or did you do this, or did you do that? The patient's response was, I had 15 O. Henry bars. The doctor can't do their job if the patient doesn't do their job. So that's what I'm asking you to do. There's no question of it. There's no doubt about it. If you just do the work, you will reap the harvest. And I'm a patient with you. I'm the doctor, but I'm also a patient. Listen, a doctor's not a good doctor if they don't follow their own advice. If your doctor has diabetes and is doing nothing to remedy their diabetes, are they a good doctor? Well, absolutely not. I'm doing the work. I'm doing it with you. I'm feeling all the sensations that you're feeling. I'm thinking all the thoughts that you're thinking. I'm just as confused as you in week 3. And that is what we're going to get to today. We're going to talk about recovering a sense of power. We're also going to talk about empowering and solidifying your vision through an Envision board. Now we're going to start to get to the nitty-gritty. Because this class goes in layers. Right, it's too much information for you to take it all in at once. You've got to start participating. You've got to start coming to office hours if you have questions. I've got about 592 subscribers on Facebook, yet I'm not seeing those numbers on Facebook. Let's do this. All right, let's take the time to ourselves. It's 12 weeks of your life. What else are you doing during your 12 weeks of your life? Are you watching television? Does that need to contribute to your life? Or can you give back to yourself? And that's all we're asking you to do, to give back to yourself in a community that supports you. All right. So without further ado, let's commence class. All right, so it's time to check in. How have you been doing? This week we talk about anger, we talk about synchronicity, we talk about a lot of things that you are probably already experiencing. A lot of you are feeling very frustrated. This is great. This is exactly where you should be right now. In fact, I've experienced an immense amount of pain this week. Immense amount of pain. So much pain that you all wouldn't even believe it, that I had to bring myself to class today all of the things that have been going on in my life. My life is a complete mirror reflection of exactly the progress that I should have at this moment. So if you're experiencing anger, you're in the right place, but we will talk about what to do with that anger. So in order to check in, just remember to go to Facebook or Google+, post some of the answers to the questions of the tasks that Julia Cameron asked at the end of the chapter. Also, post any of the answers to the questions that I ask you in the syllabus. Tell me how you're doing. Even if you're not keeping up with the Artist Dated Morning pages, your honesty is always appreciated. And of course, your honesty within yourself. And make a resolution, make a pact with yourself that this upcoming week you're going to do better, and then do better. That's the best gift you can give yourself. So I would love to see your answers. And as always, you can always find my information via the notes page on Facebook or under the About page on Google+, and you can see all of my answers there as well for the tasks at the end of the chapters that Julia Cameron suggests. So now we're talking about recovering a sense of power. So what is power? Power is the control you exert over your life, which shakes you up constantly and forces you to open up your mind. Power is the ability to control your life. And right now, up until this point, others have controlled your version of life, right? Before we talked about recovering a sense of safety and a sense of identity. So recovering a sense of safety was your ability to feel confident and safe in stepping out and becoming an artist, and confident and safe in believing in your vision, right? And then recovering the sense of identity was your ability to figure out who you are, right? Part of your life's purpose, which is all what we're doing in this class. And now you're recovering a sense of power. What you're doing is you are understanding that you as an individual have the ability to take control over this life. But once you start making the commitment to control your life still tries to control you. You're already in a paradoxical universe right now where you know that you have control over your life, but your life has controlled you. And the reason that you know that your life has been in control of you is because up until this point, your life has consisted of thoughts and feelings and visions that other people have told you were acceptable, but never yet have you sorted through what you find acceptable. So in that way, you've lost your power. So now we're going to recover it. We're going to regain a sense of power. But as we all know, the idiom, the axiom, with great power comes what? Great responsibility. So with great power comes great responsibility. See, the problem, guys, is once you take power over your life, once you say, this is my vision, I'm going to own it, I'm going to have it, it's going to be mine, now you become accountable. This is why I ask you to post your contract on our Facebook site. That's why I ask you to send me your contract. Because once you say, I'm going to be accountable, we are there to support you, but we're there to remind you. This takes a little work, but guess what? The work that you do will be minuscule in comparison to the amount of work that the universe will do back towards you. The work that you put in, you will not even believe the manifestation. Now again, we are planting seeds right now. Our harvest, our crop, it's not going to turn over for a couple of months, right? That's just how it happens. We hope to see some return on our crop during vision class. That is what we hope to see, but we can't nudge the universe in its process. All I can do is tell you that the seed that you plant now, watch out. Watch out for the benefits you will reap. And if anyone is doing the work as prescribed, you have to do it with fortitude. You have to do it without apology. And some things are going to happen, right? Some things are going to happen while you're doing this work that are going to make you second guess and doubt. And that is what the morning pages are there for you to let that out and for you to vent that, but for you to keep going strong, for you to keep saying, no, I believe in this. That is your job during this class. So we're going to talk about a lot of the things that are going to happen to you or that are already happening to you this week, that may have been happening to you, and they're going to be fortified, right? These things are going to happen to you even more so now that you're aware of what you're doing. These things are going to be a bigger struggle because you're aware of them now. Before, it was easy to live your life in blindness and to live your life without even thinking about what you were doing. But now that you have to actually realize what you're doing because you actually have to break these spells on you, your life is going to be that much more difficult during these next 12 weeks. But it's not without saying, we're here to support you. We are here for you. So we're going to hear from Udoka. who I guess, are you Igbo? Yeah. Udoka, who is going to tell us how she's experiencing this confusion, just so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about.
Hey Sharon, everybody. I am so exhausted all night. I've been tossing and turning, and I've been doing my morning pages every day since, for the past 2 weeks. But I did want to share that, at first I was like, these morning pages, I don't know what's going to do for me, but I'm just going to do it because it's part of the assignment. But now it's becoming more and more clear. It's just helping me integrate every learning and self-exploration experience I've had and putting it on paper so I can see, so it's undeniable what's going on. And something is going on. There is something bubbling inside me, some extreme kinetic energy that is just trying to get out any way that they can. It's trying to get out. And so something amazing is about to happen. I'm just letting you know, I'm on the precipice of something amazing. There's something trying to get out. I can't deny it because it's all written in my morning pages, and I will let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated, but I'm just excited. I'm kind of scared, but I'll just keep on keeping on. So quick update. Thanks.
Let us now take the time to thank Udoka for sharing and to affirm the following for her with our fullest positive intentions. We affirm blessings and revelation for Udoka on her journey in Vision class. Ashe. Let us also take the time to visit Udoka's website, www.about.me/Udoka.
So thank you, Udoka, for your generous testimony. We know it's hard to always bless people with your confusion, right? It seems like it's not a blessing, but it's a reaffirmation for people. It's like, whew, we're all going through this. So we would say Ashe at the end of your affirmation, but I think you're Igbo, so I don't know if that's going to make any sense. Okay, so it's Yoruba word. So thank you so much for sharing. And everybody, let's always support our viewers. If they've got a site that they're working on, if they need somebody, just come over and take a look at it. If not, purchase something. Let us all go over there and just bless them with that. So one of the things you guys are going to be experiencing this week is anger, right? You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be pissed off at anything, right? Maybe you're pissed off at the morning pages. Great. Maybe you're pissed off at another individual. Perfect. Maybe you're seeing who all of the poisonous playmates are in your life, who all the energy vampires are, and you're getting frustrated with them. Awesome. What anger is, as Julia Cameron states, and I never thought of it this way because trust me, I thought anger was just like I'm supposed to go strangle somebody. So a lot of times with anger, we feel that we're powerless, right? That we have no control. This isn't the case at all. Julia Cameron points it out. I've personally seen what she's saying. I'm experiencing anger this week, so it's not a lie. It's absolutely 110% true. What happens is anger causes things to bubble to the surface, right? Something that's lying dormant. A lot of viewers are saying, oh, Shira, I'm experiencing anger this week and frustration with my thoughts. What's happening? What's happening is that you are dying of yourself. You're dying unto yourself, right? So you have two selves, guys. I talked about it in phases of rebirth. You have two selves. You have your major self and your minor self, right? You have your child self, you have your adult self, whatever you want to call it. You have your physical self, you have your spiritual self. We're dying unto our physical selves here. And I know that that sounds weird because we're actually not dying, but we're dying a spiritual death, right? The self that we associate with versus the self that we actually are. Our outer self. We're dying of the outer self, and we're going inward now. We're taking an inward process, right? All this writing, all this spending time with ourselves. This is not of the physical reality that we're used to. So what anger does is it expresses exactly what's happening. It's a reflection of what is going on inside of us. And it reminds us that we are getting stronger. Because when you feel nothing, that is the time to be afraid. When you feel anger, that is the time to know that there's something happening. Anger points you to what is deep within you, what's dormant. Because that dormant beast is trying to wake up. You see, if you leave the beast alone, right? If you just go about your daily life the way that as you have been, if you keep going to the job that you think is boring, if you keep hanging out with the friends that you don't necessarily choose for yourself, if you continue listening to the opinions of friends and family who don't necessarily value the opinion that you have for yourself, that's not going to make you fully angry because you've accepted it, you've agreed to it, and you've not challenged it. But now that you're in Vision class, you're challenging it and you're poking at that beast and you're saying to that beast, it's time for you to wake up. Right? Which is your inner self, that inner self. It's time to wake up. It's time to stop being asleep, right? To the reality. And once you wake that beast up, that beast gets mad. Because that's what beasts do. They're gross and they wake up and they get angry. So your inner beast is going to get angry at you. And it's going to be very scary and confusing. So what must you do? You write it on the morning pages. You continue with your assignments. You continue with your reading. You continue showing up to lecture. You continue showing up to office hours. You may or may not know what to do at this point in time, and that's okay. But that is why we are here for you, because as each week happens, you'll know what to do with this anger. So what you're going to do with this anger now is use it as fuel, as Julia Cameron says. I was very angry this week, right? Some of you may or may not know of the situation I go through with my ex-significant other, who caused me a great deal of pain, right? Or the situations I was in with him caused me a great deal of pain. And I thought I was gone from that, right? I thought I had moved on. I'd done thought replacement. I didn't care. And then, little did I know, this beast just crept up on me this week, like out of nowhere. It had not been happening. I had not had to deal with him. And all of a sudden, the beast went, and it's not just a regular beast, guys. A lot of people are coming out of the woodwork in my life who I would not even have realized were going to come for me at this exact moment. Why now? They've had all these years to come at me, but why now? Because what happens, and people are not believing me on this, what happens is a shaking up in the universe where everything has to come to the surface. You're detoxing from your old self, right? And if any of you guys know about a detox, if you've done any kind of a cleanse, you'll notice that when you do the cleanse, all of the toxins have to be forced to the surface. And at first this is painful, right? Rebirth is painful, guys. Make no mistake about it. It's painful, all right? So you're going to be experiencing a lot of pain during this class. But pain is not without purpose. If it is without purpose, then you have not done your mission. When you have pain, there's a reason for it, and that's what anger points to. It shows you that this pain is not without purpose, and it allows you to remember that there's something to be done with this anger, to be done with this pain. Whether it goes back into your artistic efforts, some people, they paint their pain, or they write their pain, and they write a great novel, or they paint a great picture. What did I do? I'm a dancer. So I took all of that anger and that pain and I put it in my dancing, and you better believe my dancing got better just because I used it as fuel. I said, I'm going to be angry, but I'm not allowed to be angry when I'm dancing. I'm not allowed to be angry when I'm loving. So instead, I'm going to take that anger in the moments when I'm supposed to be loving, and I'll give more love. I'll give more effort. I'll give more passion. In fact, as I was writing my notes and as I was editing my videos, I had to put more focus and concentration into it just because I was that angry. Because there's the only thing you can do without going crazy. So I'm asking you, I'm telling you this week, as you are writing down your big dreams and your big visions, you're going to take all that anger and emotional pain that you're having, and you're letting it be your fuel to propel you to the next level. Let me give you another analogy. I love this analogy. I hope that you guys can use this. I hope it helps you. I started to wonder about these painful experiences and how they relate back to me. And I thought of myself as being a giant, beautiful mansion, right? Like my inner self, my highest self is a mansion. And inside of my mansion, I have many rooms. But for me to get from one room to the next, I have to go through another room. And in order to go into a room, what do you have to go through? A door. Now, all of these doors are locked, right? All of these metaphorical doors are locked. And I want to go to the biggest and the nicest room in the house, but that's all the way at the end. And I can't get to that room unless I go through other rooms. But in order to go through a locked door, I need a key. That key doesn't come to me until I'm ready for it. right? So I could spend eternity in one room and never get out of that room until I get the key to unlock the door to go into the next room. That's what you're having now. Your painful experiences are like your key. And without your painful experiences, you cannot unlock the next door. You guys, I cannot for the life of me, still, I cannot understand 100% why God is putting me with my ex, who is definitely one of my soulmates in my lifetime. Definitely, right? Because I cannot seem to get over the situation or fully get away from it. But the situation is the key to my next step, and I can't go into that room without this situation. You see, people have resented me on YouTube for going through this relationship. Well, you shouldn't have gone through that. Do you not know that there will be no vision class without that experience? I couldn't have gotten through that door without that experience. And yet and still, the next version of myself is still not going to manifest without another key. You see, people don't want to go through pain. But you're a human being. You're going to have to go through it. And if you don't go through it, there's no pleasure. There's no pleasure behind people's experiences without pain. There would be no Avatar, no beautiful, visually striking movie of Avatar without pain, which to reference. You have to reference pain in order to understand beauty, because otherwise everything is neutral. But everything's not neutral. So if there is pain, there's got to be that much more beauty. And that's what you're going to do with your anger. You're going to use it as fuel. You're going to use it as a key to unlock your next door. And if you don't believe me, look at me. Have I not shown you that I'm the embodiment of what I'm talking about? Absolutely. So use your anger as fuel. All right, so now you guys might be experiencing what's called synchronicity in your lives. Synchronicity is, as Carl Jung would say, the fortuitous intermeshing of events, or serendipity. This is literally lifted from Julia Cameron's book. So what is a fortuitous intermeshing of events? Fortuitous means strong. Intermeshing means interconnecting, right? And events, we know the word events. Serendipity is also another word. Now these words are extremely difficult to explain. Even though they've got definitions, it's hard to explain synchronicity. So the best way to explain synchronicity is when two separate events come together in such a strong way that it almost seems uncanny, odd. Why would these two things relate? The amount of synchronistic events that I experience in one day, you guys would not believe me. And some people don't believe me. Some people are very dismissive of synchronicity, right? Oh, well, no, there's no way that those two things are related. And they go on about their lives. But to dismiss and to devalue the significance of synchronicity is to dismantle the very intellectual capacity of God. I'll say that again. For you to be dismissive of the value of synchronicity is to decimate the very intelligence and the intellect of God. God is so intelligent. The universe is so infinite that absolutely every moment is synchronistic. In fact, we experience so much synchronicity in our lives, we don't know how to translate it. Sometimes synchronicity means nothing more than pay attention. Or it could mean something such as you're on the right track. Synchronicity could also mean this is what you need to do. We hope that in this class, by week 12, you experience enough synchronicity to help you trust that your vision will manifest. We're not saying that your visions and your life purposes will manifest right before your eyes. For some of you it will, for some of you it won't. We're all as individual as a snowflake. But the truth really is that if you begin to do the work, without compromise, you just do the work, whether or not you know what it's doing or why it's doing it, and you look up and you see a synchronistic event, it becomes time for you to tune into that. Synchronistic events that I experience, I see the same number over and over again, whether it be in a movie, whether it be I randomly look at the clock, whether it be I pick up a piece of paper and that's the page, that number that was torn off of the page, whether it be the date. I experience synchronicity in a multitude of ways. I have a dream about somebody. I wake up, I see that person on Facebook. Or perhaps I'm walking down the street, I see someone I haven't seen in years, but this person offers me a piece of information that I had been looking for that day. Sometimes I write in my morning pages what I pray to happen, and later on that day, an event pops up that helps me to cope with that situation that would have not otherwise popped up. It's not to say that synchronicity doesn't always happen to you. It does. Synchronicity has happened since the beginning of time to you. The only difference now that you're aware of it because you're in vision class. So it's causing you to be aware of it. And awareness is everything when you're trying to wake up from your past, when you are trying to be reborn. Your awareness is key. So let's not be dismissive of synchronicity popping up around us. In fact, I have a viewer named Latanya, who is going to talk to you very specifically about these synchronicities that she experienced with this class and what made her wake up to want to take this class. And let me tell you something. I don't discount it at all, and I applaud her for coming forward and speaking about this.
I am excited, okay? I'm just uberly excited. I have 7 children, so I don't have a lot of time to waste, okay? My time is very valuable, so for me to want to spend time on something says a lot about it, and I want to do the vision class. I'm so excited. I have made time. I put it at the top of my priority list, and again, that says a lot. I don't do foolery, buffoonery. I don't waste my time listening to other people talk, even though I'm talking. I don't want to say it like that because I respect it, but I just am not a hop on the bandwagon type of person because somebody else is saying it or other people are doing it. But this feels right. This feels so right. So I'm so pumped up about it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a few of the connections that made me want to go forward with this class. Before I saw anything about the vision class on Shira's channel, I watched The Secret like a week before. Okay, my DirecTV was out and I wanted something to watch, and so I watched the movie The Secret. I watched it plenty of times, but what I didn't know was that it needed to be fresh in my head for what I was about to do. And so later I'm on YouTube again. I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube, even though I make videos. I don't even spend a lot of time on my own videos. But, Sugar-Free TV is one of the few people that I watch. Watched The Secret, saw your video. In the video you had a journal. I have that same journal. My journal is probably 3 years old. I mean, look at it. It's all ripped up from the children. The only thing I wrote in this journal is 1 page and a bunch of haiku poems for my children. Everything else is blank, aside from my morning pages that I've now started doing. And some scribbling. See? Children. I bought this about 3 years ago, like I said, with intent. I looked at it, felt the connection to this journal, and I picked it up and bought it. It's a reason I bought this journal. Never use it. I journal all the time. I haven't journaled for years. I write poetry, I journal all the time. But this one I never wrote it. Now I use it for my morning pages. Another connection. In one of your videos, you had a piece of paper and you tore the paper off, and I think you were explaining how we're all connected, how we're a part of the same page, we're a part of each other. Even if you tear it off, we're still a part of that, it's still there. My husband used that exact same scenario a few months ago to explain how we are a part of God and God is a part of us. Meaning that God is a piece of paper and we are, and even we tear it off, we're still a part of that same page. You know what I'm saying? I was like, when I saw you do it, I was like, did you see that? I was like, did you watch this somewhere? He's like, no, it's just something, he felt right in explaining it. Connection. It was crazy. I told him about it, and he's like, see, it's there. This is our lifestyle anyway. This vision class, this being aware, this living in the now, living in the moment, stopping the mental chatter, or being aware of the mental chatter, watching the mental chatter, you know what I'm saying? Getting a grip on the ego, or the censor as it's called in the other book. So, this is our life, vision boards. I made it, my first vision board I made like 4 years ago. It's old. On the back of it, I made another one. My children and I, we made vision boards on New Year's 2 years ago. New Year's Day. So, this is my life. But I just feel like that, taking this vision class, and reading the syllabus and looking at the books, this is going to tie in everything that I already knew. everything that my husband already knows and take it to the next level and bring it all together so I can go where I need to go. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I have all my dreams. I know where I'm going. This is going to help me get there. I know it. That's why I'm like so excited about it. And then the fact that I am feeding for college or school. So I was like, oh, I get to get some books and some new pens. So I'm so excited because I'm like feeding for college or school. I was like, I'm going to some kind of school, hair school, some kind of school I need to go to. Okay, so the other connection. I was reading The Power of Now. I stopped when I decided to do the vision class because the syllabus has a lot of books. And I said if I ever got another book by Eckhart Tolle, I was going to read it. The New Earth in the syllabus. Connection. So with that being said, I gotta end this video now because I'm over my 5-minute time. Thank you again for doing this vision class. Thank you for putting in the time and the energy. And I believe in you. I believe in the vision class. I believe in what it is that we're trying to accomplish as a community, and I'm a part of it. And it's at the top of my priority list. Right.
Peace.
Let us thank Latanya for taking the time to share her truth and her lovely family with us. Let us also affirm the following. We affirm blessings and continued scholastic aptitude for Latanya's journey in vision class. Ashe. Let us now take the time to visit her YouTube channel, Natural Mommy 7, by clicking here.
We want to go ahead and thank Latanya for sharing that with us. We know you have 7 children. We bless those children. 7's my number, Latanya, so that's another synchronistic opportunity right there. What does it mean? We don't know what it means. It could mean something as simple as take vision class, but it's all about what it means for you. And that's what's key about synchronicity. So it may mean when you have an awareness that that synchronistic moment has happened, it may simply mean, I should take vision class. Or perhaps I need to write in morning pages. Whatever it means for you is what it means. That's the beauty of the universe. It speaks directly to you. Yeah. So some of you guys might not have the same notebook that Latanya has, and perhaps some of you don't have the same kids as Latanya has, and perhaps some of you don't have the same life and the same analogies that make sense to you. But you experience something else. All right, you are the one to translate that message. Shira, I don't know what it means. Well, if nothing else, take it at face value and just trust that it means to pay attention. If you cannot figure out or interpret what your synchronistic events mean, take it at face value and know that it just means that you should pay attention to the world around you because it is happening to you. And don't discount it. And even if it's just something minuscule and you think it's just minor, like, hey, I know my birthday is 5:30. I look up, it says 5:30. Wonder what that means. I don't know. I'm not you, but you can interpret it. Trust me, you have the tools, the inner guidance to know exactly what that means. And if you don't, write it in the morning pages. That's what they're there for. They're there to listen, and they're there to reveal. So later on in this lecture, in a little while, we're going to talk about dreaming big. But just so you know, the universe cannot listen to your dreams if they're not big. Yeah, you can't just have, we have minor dreams and visions for the day. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to making something come to fruition, it needs to be full of passion, life, vibrance, exuberance. It needs to be something major. Right? Don't just dream something little like, I hope today I get to go for a walk and go to the store and get myself some ice cream. That's great. And that's a great vision. And I'm not discounting your vision in any way. But perhaps your vision needs to be grand. Like, I want to open up my own ice cream shop. And you have no idea how it's going to manifest. Those are the ones that the universe listens to the most because it requires that you step out on full faith in order to make that happen. And that's where God is responsive because God is like, hey, you believe in me to know that I can do this for you? Well, fasten your seatbelts. You see, recovering your sense of power means recognizing that there is power and responsibility towards your dream. Once you step out on that ledge and you say, this is what I want to do, you now become responsible for making that come to life, come to pass, which is scary, which is why you're going to get reborn, which is why you have to go through all this litany of process, because you're sitting here and you're thinking, how am I going to make this happen? Well, you have to do some work, and it's going to be beautiful work. I do vision class. Sometimes I do vision class 12 hours a day, but I love it. I love every moment of it. It's nothing that I'm begrudging. I like to do this work. So make sure that whatever your dream and vision is, that you can do all of the steps along the way with passion, clarity, and happiness. Right. So what is shame? Shame is a controlling device that other people use to keep you from revealing information that is embarrassing to them. Why are we talking about shame in the power chapter? We're talking about shame because power is the ability to control one's life, right? So if someone is shaming you, and that's a controlling device, well, someone's doing that to keep you from your dream. Again, it may or may not be on purpose, but people do this because what tends to happen is people get ashamed for you to reveal the truth. You see, sometimes when you're passionate about something, the truth is much deeper than the lie. The lie which may be that, hey, we raised this person to be a famous actor, and this person's saying, I don't want to be an actor. I want to be a famous lawyer. And that's not the dream that we had for you. So what happens is you're bringing to light. Again, we're talking about your recovering. We're also talking about anger. It points to things. These people get angry, right? And again, these people come to the surface like a toxin that's coming out when you're detoxing. And why does this happen? This happens because people... You know the statement that was in A Few Good Men, the truth, you can't handle the truth? People can't handle the truth. And we have to remind ourselves that those doing the shaming are the ones who are not yet ready to be real with themselves. Because if the whole point of sharing is caring, and you are sharing with the intention of caring, whether or not you were trying to hurt that individual, if they are hurt by the truth, then they are going to be the ones to shame you. And you have to begin to bring those toxins out, because those are typically who are going to turn into your poisonous playmates. Those are typically who is going to turn into your crazy maker or your energy vampire. And you cannot afford that on this journey. So you must make a list. And there are great exercises that Julia Cameron states for you to begin to figure out who those people are, not to hate them, not to shame them, but to be the beacon of light. And that is why very specifically at the beginning of our affirmation, right before our purpose statement, before every vision class lecture, we talk about being a beacon of light, because we actually seek to become that in our own lives. Just remember that around this time, you guys are going to want to numb out. You're going to want to take your mind off of what you're doing, because you're going to be getting angry during this time. You're going to be getting feeling of resentment during this time. And a lot of people are going to come out of the woodworks that you didn't see there before, who are trying to deter you from your mission, because the universe is that strong that it speaks to them. Whether or not they know what you're doing, they're going to come out of nowhere. People don't even know what I'm doing, and they're coming for me. And the reason I know that is because my presence is so powerful that it's speaking to them through other people that I'm not even coming into contact with. Somehow these people are being ignited to want to come after me. So what you have to remember during this time is you have to remember that the best antidote for this is self-praise and self-love, which is why you do the artist date, which is why you remind yourself how good you are, which is why you have this community of people behind you, backing you, saying, we believe in you, and we do, and I do believe in you. Just remember, part of the problem that we have is we're so inward about our issues that we don't ever I do this all the time. We don't tell people what we're going through. So as a result, people have the tendency of being able to hurt us again. We don't know what to do to dig ourselves out of that. That's why we have vision class. Just remember, this spiral starts to happen. Once you start numbing out, guys, forget it. You're not gonna hold on to your dreams. You're not gonna think that you're worthy. You're not gonna think that you're capable. So you have to constantly confront those feelings. All right? And that is what we're doing in vision class. You have to avoid the first think, right? We talked about this earlier, that thinking does not serve you right now. It doesn't. Your thoughts have not worked for you so far, guys. I just want to tell you the truth. They haven't worked for me either. Because in your thoughts are memories, in your thoughts are anxiety. Your thoughts are bombarded with many things that are not your own. We talked about this in week 1. So you have to remember that as you're pushing along, that there are going to be self-sabotaging behaviors that you're going to have. And they're going to keep coming up. And you have to constantly remember, put those on the page. If you have to put them on Facebook, out them. Put them out in the light so that they can be smashed, so that you can create your own safe haven. And this is why, again, it is important to be nurturing of yourself during this time, during your artist date. Because if not, you run the risk of ruining all of the progress that you've made thus far. A lot of times we think that we can do this on our own, right? We think that we can, no, you know what? I don't need books. I don't need this. I'm great. I know what I'm doing. That is the first step to spiraling back down. That it's a denial system. Trust me, guys, you don't even realize the fortitude of the mechanism that has already been put in place by your mind as it has grown to keep you from yourself. So just remember that these are mechanisms, and these are going to get you the whole step of the way. So you've got to really stay in tune with yourself. Continue doing the work. So, growth. Growth is your healing process, right? Whenever you're growing, here's a great example. Sometimes, guys, when you're little, you break a leg, right? Or you break an arm, or you break a bone. And in order for that bone to heal properly, when you're a kid, it has to be set, or else as it grows, it'll grow deformed. It will. This is what's happening now. We are almost breaking your bones purposefully in order for your bones to grow together properly. Because that's what you have to do in order to reset a bone that has grown incorrectly after it has been broken. You see, we're all broken beings, guys. We're broken beings. And we don't have an idea that we're broken. We're becoming aware of it through this class. But we have not recognized how broken we are. So in order for you guys to recognize how broken you are, you have to begin breaking bones in places that they hurt years ago. Now you have to re-break that bone. You have to reopen that wound. Guess what, guys? Think of a wound that has an infection, and you let that wound close. And now that that wound is closed, you have all this infection underneath, and you don't want to touch that infection because it hurts so bad. But trust me, guys, it's doing far more hurt than it does healing for you to not open that wound. So what we're saying is we have to go into that wound. We have to dig it out and clean it out, and we have to put an antidote in it, and then we have to let it re-heal itself, which is what we're doing with our growing. We're growing now. Growing is painful. I have to remind you how painful this is. In fact, there's a book that talks about this wonderfully. It's a great resource book. It's also by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's one of the most eye-opening books I've ever read. It's called The Mastery of Love. And in the ending chapters of this book, he talks about how you heal. And that's what we're doing, guys. We're healing. We're healing broken bones by breaking them again and allowing them to grow together properly. And we're doing it with support, right? When you break a bone, you have to put a cast on it. That's a support. Right? And it's a temporary cast. It's a 12-week cast that we're putting on our brokenness to help us heal. And that cast is the support of one another, the loving support of other viewers. And just remember that growth occurs in spurts, right? So sometimes you guys are going to feel really good. Sometimes you're not going to feel so good. All right? Once you're done growing and healing, then you feel like, okay, I'm great, but you're going to have to grow again. You're going to have to keep walking through that door. You're going to have to keep getting keys to unlock the next metaphorical door. We have a viewer who talks about this growing process and about all of this idea of how growing can manifest and how she's gone through her experiences, and her name is Candy. So take a listen to Candy's testimony.
Candy, and I'm just coming to you to share some feedback on the vision class. I must say that this has been an up and down battle with me. And at first I started out with The Artist's Way, and I was not enjoying that book at all. I mean, I used to be a painter back in undergrad, but I never see myself becoming a professional painter, so to speak. So I thought that's what the book was all about, and I put it down. Also, I was not getting into the morning pages at all. I just could not see myself waking up 30 minutes ahead just to write in a journal. I just was not feeling that. So anyways, I picked up the Isaiah Effect book, and I read that in 2 days, and I must say that I love that book. I am so in love with that book. And then yesterday I decided that I was going to rededicate myself to the whole process again, and signed the contract and decided to do the morning pages this morning, which actually was wonderful. It felt so good. Like, the thoughts were just flowing, and my mind actually decluttered before I had to go to work. And I actually woke up at 5:55, which is an angel number. I'm not sure if you guys are into angel numbers, but Doreen Virtue, she has a whole series on it. But I have been a big fan of angel numbers for the last 5 or 6 years. So today I saw 5:55 5 times, and that normally means, major life changes are coming your way. So, like I said, this was an up and down battle, but I feel like I'm on the right track now, and I must say today was a really good day. Like, I did not have any extra chatter in my head for some reason. I think the morning pages had a lot to do with it. So I am actually very dedicated to this now, and I really want to see what the end result is. So, thanks, Shira, for everything, and I hope you all have success in whatever you guys decide to do.
Let us take the time to thank Candy for her testimony and to affirm the following. We affirm many blessings in the manifestation of all Candy's wildest dreams due to her rededication to morning pages. Ashe.
All right, so guys, we just want to thank Candy for her testimony, for sharing. I know that it's not easy, Candy. We know that you're growing and that you're experiencing right now, and there was a reason that you came back to this book when you did. So thank you so much for sharing. So Write It Down, Make It Happen is extremely long. It's 10 chapters. We can't hit on every chapter. And I think the biggest part of your recovery often lies in the artist's way. So a lot of these tasks and exercises that Henriette and Klauser often asks you guys to do is also housed within the artist's way. So you don't have to do duplicate work. As long as you are just doing the artist's way work, I think that you're covered. But these are some very helpful hints for people who are struggling through certain things. So if these are something that is specific to you, I encourage you to do it. Now, one thing that I am requiring you to do, I'm telling you, you must do this. I'm going to do it, okay? I'm going to do it, and I'll post it for you. You're going to dream big, guys. You're going to dream huge right now. What you're going to do in the very first chapter of of Write It Down, Make It Happen, is Henriette and Klauser suggest that you go to a coffee house, or you put on a pot of tea or your favorite music, and you just write away. Write down all the dreams that you want. Now, I've already told you to start doing this, right? That you're jotting down your dreams and your visions in your vision book. Now it's time for you to make sure that along with those dreams and visions, you write every single last dream and vision that you can think of in your heart. The ones that you're scared to write down, you write those down. And in fact, today is the day that you dream big. You get excited about this. Your heart's going to be scared. You ain't even going to want to write it down. That's how scary your dreams are. You're not even going to want to write it down to yourself, because writing it down means responsibility, or it means recovering power, right? And writing it down means that you are accessing a part of yourself that you are scared to access, because so many people have dropped it down into the pits and bowels of your stomach that you're so afraid to write it. You're going to dream big. And you're going to take one of those visions, if you're daring enough, and you're going to post it on Facebook. Now, of course, I post mine on my Google Drive, but I'm going to post mine for you. Now, I don't know what I'm going to post for you. I don't know if I'm daring enough to post my biggest and wildest dreams, but I might be. I might just put it out there. I'm going to put some, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to put some things out there that even I'm scared of putting out there, but whatever. One of my biggest dreams, I'm going to put it out there right now. You see me getting excited about it, right? I want to work so bad with Robin Thicke and Ryan Leslie that I can taste it. I even want to work on a salsa album one day. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really random, but whatever. That's why it's a dream. That's why it's a vision. I really want to work with Robin Thicke. I've listened to Robin Thicke since like I was in 9th grade or younger. I mean, ever since he was doing Sprite commercials and looking like a hippie, I have listened to Robin Thicke. I have respected him. Now that he's doing so well on the charts with his new song, I respect him even more. I'm so grateful that he's getting the shine that he deserves. He's working hard. And I've always wanted to work with this man. I think what he can do with his sound, how he cultivates a sound for an artist, how he understands music. The same with Ryan Leslie. I think the two of them are musical geniuses of this time, and I want to work with them. I do. So I put it out there, okay? That's what I want. That's what I want. Now, there are many things that I want, but I'm going to write them all down and share some of them with you. And I want you to do the same. That's your assignment. And you know, this is the time to get to an environment that feels good to you, to have all of your sensory areas engaged. So you want your sense of smell, your sense of taste, your sense of hearing, your sense of sight, your sense of touch, right? You want to be in a place where the air feels good, where you're really breathing all of your breath in and you're feeling good. This is not the time to be around all of the kids that are screaming, right, guys? This is not hey, I have one. This is not the time to be in the house that doesn't make you feel comfortable. Some of you don't like where you live. Hey, this is the time for you to go for a jog, sit down by a pond, drink something that's really good, eat something that's really good, and you sit there and you write, and you feel good when you write because you're pouring energy into your visions as you do this. So make sure you're fully engaged. You can combine this with your artist date. All right? Never be afraid to combine things with your artist date, guys. If you're crunched for time, make sure that you do. And give yourself this gift. Dream big. Remember, the universe only responds when we dream big.
Here's a writing tip. Remember to put a date on all the dreams you write down in your vision book. So that way, when they manifest later, you will know that you wrote them down beforehand.
Now, Henriette and Klauser talks about coincidences. These are the same as synchronicity, right? So sometimes you're going to see synchronicity. Look out for it because it's going to start happening once you dream big. Because every time that you take a look at the visions that you have, they're going to energize you and you're going to energize them, and you send it out to the universe, and the universe sends it back to you in the sense of coincidences, or as Henriette and Klauser would say, or as Carl Jung would say synchronicity. So you're going to start noticing these serendipitous events, and you're going to not discount them, guys. You're going to remind yourself that these are things telling you to go. You know, as I said, I was contacted by Harpo Studios at one point. Now, I didn't necessarily believe that at that point my big break or whatever was coming. I didn't think that at all. But I took it as a very serendipitous incident. I knew that when I was being contacted by Harpo Studio, that was a big push from God saying, Shira, you better keep on going in this direction because you are going to eventually manifest all of your visions. This is my way of recognizing what you're doing and telling you there are a couple more doors to go through, there's a couple more steps, but keep going. And that's what you guys want to do. You want to pay attention to those. And sometimes you'll get really big nudges like that, and they feel really, really good. Writing it down, make it happen. What happens scientifically? Scientifically, there are two areas in the brain that you guys should really read up on outside of what I'm going to tell you now. One is a reticular activating system. The other is the pineal gland. Now, the reticular activating system is what is directly spoken about in Write It Down, Make It Happen. It is an area in the brain. It's along your the stem of your brain, and this area is what sorts information. So what happens when you write down is that you begin taking information that was not in the forefront of your brain, and you're bringing it to the forefront, and you're telling your brain this information is important. And what happens is your brain begins to respond by sending out little feelers back. This is what synchronicity is, right? So what you're doing is you're filtering, right? So instead of you're regaining a sense of power. You're telling your brain what to focus on. And because it's at the forefront of your mind, the only thing that can come to you is, the only thing that can attract itself to you is the reality that you're trying to create. You see, a lot of us wake up every day in the same reality. We go to the same jobs. We wear the same clothes. We don't even think about what we're doing. We're on autopilot. But because we're writing, because we're becoming aware through vision class, we are setting up a system, a filtration system, where everything that we would like to focus on comes to the front of our minds, and therefore our minds are able to respond. And what we do, we talked about energy the first week. That energy, that current that is flowing through every living being, every living thing throughout this planet can respond, can cooperate, because we've sent it out and because our energy is fixated on those things. Because our energy right now, we will read in the 4 agreements later, our energy is spent every day making the same agreements every day. We will also read this in A New Earth. How we spend our majority of our day, every day, recreating the same reality. So therefore, our brain does nothing but recreate the same reality. We've spent our energy on it. Why would it do anything different? But now that you're writing, you're recreating the reality that you want. What a powerful thing that is. The pineal gland, you'll spend more time reading about this later, and I will talk about it later. But just know that the pineal gland is a gland responsible for both melanin. So if you have if you have color in your skin, this is the gland responsible for that. But also in other non-mammalian animals, the pineal gland is referred to as the third eye because it does have a space around it where it receives an immense amount of blood flow as compared to the other areas of the brain which do not. This part of the brain is also responsible for your consciousness and your awakening, your ability to sense the synchronistic events that go on around you. So as you go forward, know that your brain literally has physical mechanisms for allowing these things to happen, and how powerful you would be if you just trusted and knew that not only on a microscopic level, but on a macroscopic level, you are controlling everything that happens around you. Gives me chills. It gives me chills. All right, so now that you've written down your major goal, how do you get that goal to happen? You're not just going to let it sit there and do nothing. You have to water the seed. So now that you've written down the goal, you've actually planted the seed in your mind, in your RAS, in your reticular activating system. You're saying to your mind, all right, hey, filter any events surrounding this goal that will help me get to this goal. What you're going to do now is you're going to play a part in your dream. And I'm so excited to tell you about this. This is where your intention book comes majorly in handy. You guys are going to take your dream and you are going to take a little piece, whatever little piece you can do every day, and you work on it every day, and you write it in your intention book. It's called Setting Goals. There are tons of exercises that Henriette and Klauser suggest for this, but just know that the minute that you decide what your dream is, my dream was to become a ballroom dancer. So what did I do? One day I wrote my resume. Another day I continued writing my resume. Another day I submitted my resume. Another day I called the studio. These are all miniature goals that you can do every day, something stepping towards your goal. You're going to write it in your intention book. What if you don't know your goal? What if you don't know your dream? That's what your writing is for. That's what your morning pages are for, your legacy book. So you're going to write until resolution, as Henriette and Klauser says. You're going to write until the answer comes out. It will. Do not doubt me on this. I am the living example. So you're going to set a small goal every day, and you're going to work on it. And if you miss a goal, hey, that's okay. Try it again the next day and the next day. And right before you write your intention down, you're going to write an affirmation. I am efficient and productive, and I am accomplished today in doing my goals. That's what I write every day in my intention book before I accomplish my goals. And every day, I am efficient, I am productive, and I am accomplished every single day. So another thing you want to employ now, we've already employed it in week 1, but we want to go back to this idea of visualization. Visualization is the ability to take your dream, the one that we're talking about now, the big dream, the one that we are going to eventually put down onto our Envision boards, right? And we're going to take that dream and we want to see it in our mind's eye. We want to close our eyes and we want to be there. We want to feel the feeling of being there, right? When I think about dancing and I wanted to be a ballroom dancer, you know what I did every day? I put salsa music on and I listen to this music every day. I imagine myself in the clothing. I imagine myself doing the movements. If I have to, I go pull up a tape of people dancing and I watch it so that I can visualize it even more accurately. Because sometimes you can't visualize your dream. You just don't know what it feels like. What if your dream is to drive a Lotus, a sports car? Well, sometimes as a secret, the book in the movie The Secret would suggest you go and you sit in that car so you can feel yourself in that car. So later on when you're visualizing it, you can feel the feeling of what it's like. But sometimes we don't have access to that. So what do we have access to? Pictures, all right, videotapes, our mind. We want to do as much as we can to imagine this. And some of you may not understand the order of what we're doing, but back in creative visualization, Shakti Gawan spoke about being, doing, and having as a triangular diagram. All right? You want to be so that you can do before you can have. We're talking about having, right? Our visions are what we want to have. But the first step is being. We're working out of order. We're actually working on the doing. The doing being, what can we do? We can do our morning pages. We can do our artist date. We can write our visions down. All right? We can write our intentions down. We can set goals that we want to achieve that will help us get to that vision. We might not know how it's going to manifest, right? We don't know how we're going to manifest the having. We don't know how we're going to manifest the vision. But we know that if we do a small part every day, if we know that we can make synchronistic events come to fruition and we can see them, then we know that we can have, right? We may not know how, but it happens. I told you guys about the ballroom dancing. I cannot stop talking about it. I did not know how. I had no clue. But I knew it better happen because it was in my heart. Why wouldn't it happen? And it's happening. I'm here. I'm doing it now. So just so you guys know, we're doing the doing piece first before we create the being. Because through the doing, we are being. Which you guys may not understand this yet, which is why I said we're not going to talk about the conceptual piece until later. Because I can't give you guys the understanding of what being is until you actually experience being, which you experience through doing, which is the morning pages, which is the artist date, yada, yada, yada. All right? So you guys need to do the work. So make sure you're doing it so that what happens is you can feel what being is so that when I talk about it later, it makes sense. And later when you have, you understand that the process is always being, doing, having. Always. Just remember, guys, sometimes we want to have things and we don't understand why we're not manifesting them. Continue to realize, as Shakti Gawan says, as is echoed by Henriette and Klauser, everything is for the good of the highest, right? Everything is for the highest good of all involved. So sometimes you have a vision and it's not really the best thing for everyone involved. So you have to remember that in order to manifest properly, you have to work at the level that your vision is for the highest good. And sometimes what writing does is it helps you to realize, is this really for the benefit of the highest good of everyone involved? Is this really for my best benefit? Guys, I used to want to think that I was going to go into fashion design. But then I realized that wasn't for my highest benefit. So I let go of that dream for the temporary time being, because that wasn't what served me at that moment. So that is what writing will help you do. It'll help you know what you really want to do and what you really don't want to do. So make sure you're writing and make sure you're trying to do some of these exercises if you are confused. These are the tools that help you. So it's one of the ways some of you guys are probably wondering, how do I know what's for me, what's not? Preparation, practice, and patience. 3 P's. Let's say it together. Preparation, practice, and patience. When you are prepared, what happens is you are doing the work. So as I said earlier from one of my friend's quotes, she is on point. She said, in the absence of intuition, default to discipline. What that means is sometimes intuitively you don't know what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And that's fine. We're not perfect beings. We're not going to know everything to do. So we default to discipline. And the discipline that we default to is morning pages, artist date, watching class, etc. You use tools of discipline that you begin to practice in order for you to manifest. Because preparation means that you are using the tools. Practice means that you use the tools often. And patience means that after you've used the tools often, you wait. You have patience because the universe does have to do its part of the work. So last but not least, we want to talk about your Envision Board. What is your Envision Board? Your Envision Board is your final project due upon week 12. You don't have to show everybody this, okay? So I want you to know, be as free with your Envision Board as you'd like to be. You don't have to show everyone this. You just have to do it. That's what we want to work towards. So on your Envision Board, just remember, you can have all of the little miniature dreams that you have. Get a haircut, get some ice cream, and you can have your big dream, become a songwriter and write with Ryan Leslie or write with Robin Thicke. That can be on your vision board. And what you're doing is, along the way, you're writing in your intention book to help you know what your intentions are, what your goals are each day for getting towards that goal. You're writing in your vision book so you keep track of what those visions are, and you're also becoming disciplined in your practice. And then you're taking your legacy book to write down your fears, to address your anger, to address your anxiety. And because you're using all of these tools, these disciplines, and because you're putting it as part of your life, in the end, you're going to take out all of these ideas and you're going to begin putting them on the Envision Board, whether it be putting big blobs of your affirmations, right? Whether you write in your affirmations on there. Sometimes it helps you to take a big cutout of the photo of the thing that you want. But I find, my friend has referred me to Oprah's Dream Board, and another viewer referred me to the Dream Board on Oprah's website, that a lot of times you don't just want to write down, you don't just want to cut out a picture, okay? You want to cut out a picture that embodies a feeling, something that makes you have a breath come out of you, right? So sometimes if I cut out a picture of my child, right, and I put her on my Envision Board, I may take a breath, because every time I look at a picture of my child, she gives me a breath of fresh air. That's the kind of images you want on your Envision Board. So although we might cut out a picture of our dream mate, our dream husband, because that is very dangerous, right? Sometimes you cut out a picture of somebody and they actually manifest. Real talk. These real people might show up, okay, at your doorstep. That's scary, right? That's like, whoa, that is working way too well. And sometimes, instead of just cutting out a picture of something that you want, it often does a lot more justice to your dreams and visions for you to just write down dream house, and instead of putting a picture of the dream house, you have the words dream house, and next to dream house you have a picture of a pond. Maybe it's the view from the house, something that gives you a guttural reaction. It doesn't always have to be so literal, and I want you to keep that in mind. So what you're going to do over the next 9 weeks is you're going to start cutting out pictures, or you're going to start writing in your vision book the things that you're going to put on your Envision Board, so that later you're not just scrambling for these images, that you're actually doing it periodically. And again, you're going to take your intention book and you're going to write down your goals for what you want to cut out. Hey, Friday, I want to cut out pictures. Or, hey, for my next artist date, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to take things that I've written on my vision book, and I'm going to start cutting those things out. Or I'm going to start scribbling down my affirmations that I'm going to put on my Envision Board. Maybe you're going to write in your vision book ideas for how you're going to put your Envision Board together. This is totally creatively up to you. This is why we're going through this course at the pace that we are, so that you can really get a creative idea. And of course, along the way, you might want to show people your Envision Board, just to get the people that are supportive now, the people who are in vision class, just to say, hey, here's my progress, here's some ideas. And actually, we have a viewer whose stage name is Glitter Cosmetica, and Glitter Cosmetica is going to show you guys an example of his Envision Board, and just to give you an idea of how fabulous it could be.
Hello. One wand, ambition, vision, good. Brighten up service, you are beautiful, new. Sweetheart, all you need is love. Love it, gift it. Service here, music. Express. Flower power, let loose, going for the gold. Blow-up theory. I am so sorry. Homebody, no regrets. Interior motive, jazz, different. Color here.
Let us now take the time to thank Glitta Cosmetica for sharing his Envision Board with us and how he interprets his visions by reading them in his own voice. We affirm the manifestation of Glitta Cosmetica's intentions listed in his own language on his Envision Board. Ashe.
All right, so don't forget, guys, you're solidifying your vision by creating an Envision Board. You're giving yourself something that stays for the rest of your life. I put the picture cutout of me being a ballroom dancer on my Envision Board, and I have manifested it. It's actually happened. Again, to some people that might not be like a major vision, but I knew it was something difficult to manifest. So I appreciate what the Vision Board has done. It solidifies your vision. It solidifies your vision. It also brings it to a sense of power, right? It brings a sense of power to your vision. The reason that you're doing an Envision Board is because this is going to be something that you walk past every day. And every time you walk past it, it's so meaningful. You put so much work into it that every time you see it, you are reinvigorated. You are revived with a sense of power. Every single time you walk past it, your vision is solid. It's real because there is something that you've put into it. And every time you look at that Envision Board, you will think to yourself, this is what I'm here for. It will remind you. It'll refilter into your reticular activating system. It will refilter. It'll set up more synchronistic events. It'll keep bringing your vision into focus. Sometimes you don't even have to be looking at this Envision Board. My Envision Board is all the way in New York City right now. Yet, I still manifested my vision. So it doesn't necessarily have to be there in front of you at all times. Although it is beneficial for you to look at it, it doesn't have to be something you look at 24/7. You don't want to desensitize yourself to it. This is something that you're going to put in an area of your room that maybe you visit twice a day so that you're reinvigorated, so that you give energy to those visions and so that they can magnetically attract themselves to you. So hopefully I've helped you understand some tips and tricks to making your Envision Board. And if not, there are great tips and tricks in creative visualization and Write It Down, Make It Happen, all of which I will consistently list for you at the end of this lecture as exercises that will help you to set goals that will help manifest some of these visions. And of course, don't forget, any questions, comments, or concerns, list them on Facebook and Google+. And of course, you can come to our office hours every Saturday and Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, Glitta Cosmetica, for sharing your Envision Board with our class, helping them get a great idea of what to do. And thank you all for participating and spending this time with me. And I cannot wait to see you next week. Peace and peace.
Today in Vision class, we discussed how to recover our sense of power by understanding how anger, synchronicity, and shame can lead to a sense of responsibility over our dreams. We also had 4 viewer testimonies, which demonstrated the validity of these concepts as real experiences in Vision class. We explained how writing down our dreams and visions creates manifestation. And finally, we learned how to solidify our visions through our intentions on an Envision Board. Join us next week, Friday, June 28th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we learn how to activate our visions with writing. Make sure to read The Artist's Way, Week 4, as well as finish Write It Down, Make It Happen.